and Young, tell us everything you wanna be. Yin Young, share with us all of your dreams. Yin and Young, gotta learn how to fight. Be yourself in this life. It's alright. We are back with Yin Young, the podcast. Let's see, 28, 29, episode 30.
31.
31?
30?
30, I think it's 30, right?
It's 31.
Really? Oh my gosh. We are here with actor. Well, you know what this episode's called? This episode, George Q. Nguyen. We're here with George Nguyen. George, you want to say hi real quick?
Hey everyone.
All right, we are here with the actor George. I met George back in the Bay Area in San Jose. We hanged out with another mutual friend of ours, Jennifer Pong. I think we went to go watch like a version of like the Grandmaster or something, or
Yeah, that's right.
yeah. He came out for a screening. He went they drove all the way from the SF which George is from, and came all the way to San Jose, and Jennifer hanged out with us as well. So cool. So we met then, kept in touch because I guess we've been in and out of same circles, like the same Asian American / Hollywood / entertainment circles, whatever. Yeah. So cool. And yeah. So what I wanted to get started with is Dan. Sorry, Dan, do you have any questions or are you good? Actually,
Yeah, I'm good.
Cool. So wait. Now, so let's start from the beginning. You grew up in the Bay Area?
Yeah, I mean, I was born in Texas,
Okay.
El Paso, but I grew up in San Francisco. My parents came here before the fall of Saigon. They came over here my mom actually came over here in 1968. My dad was here a little bit before that. They used to teach for the Defense Language Institute in Monterey, which is a language school for the government.
Monterey,
Monterey,
Bay
California.
Area. Oh, okay,
Mhm.
cool.
And so technically I should have been born in Monterey,
Yeah.
but because of the teaching gig my dad had in Texas at the time while my mom was pregnant, he had to drive down to Texas to work while she was pregnant. Hence, that's why I was born in El Paso, Texas. I know nothing about Texas. I don't even know what it looks like. Most Texans don't think El Paso is part of Texas anyhow because it's so far west.
Uh-huh.
I technically grew up in San Francisco all my life, so I'm a SF kid.
And when you say San Francisco, we're talking legit San Francisco.
San Francisco proper, yeah. I grew up in the Nob Hill area.
Okay, yeah.
I went to all the public schools there.
Yeah.
Graduated high school there. I went to college there.
You went to college in SF area?
Yeah, I went to SF State.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you spent a good amount of time in SF. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much my whole life
Yeah.
until I moved to LA 3 years ago.
Right. So we basically came to LA around. Hold on, let me move this real quick. We came to LA around the same-ish time, I guess. Yeah, because I came in for grad school and you came here for the industry, right? I guess.
Right.
Yeah, but in college, did you study acting or no?
No. My first year in college, I was a film major.
Oh.
And I started making films in 8mm and whatnot before digital era.
Oh man,
I don't want to even tell you my age, but that's that's what we were doing. It was really fun, but I knew that for me, my passion was in the acting portion of it rather than the filmmaking portion of it.
Oh, interesting. Okay, in front of the camera.
In front of the camera, as opposed to behind the camera. It was fun learning the technical aspects of filmmaking.
Yeah.
I enjoy that, but for me, that my passion was with in being in front of the camera and on stage, actually, more so than film. So I decided to change my major to cellular molecular biology. And that's not because my parents forced me or anything like that. For me, I felt like I wanted to just make sure I studied something more practical, just for my own sake. Because I knew like acting was a passion, but I knew that it would be a tough road if I were just to study either filmmaking or just to study theater in college. So I wanted to just prove to myself I could study something outside of the arts. Because, a lot of my family relatives are doctors and dentists and pharmacists. And I was like, I'll study science and see where I go from there.
Yeah.
So I did cellular molecular biology after I studied filmmaking. And in the meantime, I was looking for a job in college to, make some extra money. And I saw a job opening at the American Conservatory Theater, which is...
Oh, ACT. Yeah.
Which is, the theater company is also a school for dramatic arts. And it's, it was ranked pretty high up there in dramatic arts.
Yeah, I mean, what's her name? The Elizabeth Banks is from there.
Elizabeth Banks, Annette Bening, Winona Ryder, Nicolas Cage, Denzel Washington, Benjamin Bratt.
Oh, wow.
There's a whole slew of people who graduated from ACT.
Oh, great.
Their
Did
MFA
Robin
program.
Williams?
No, Robin Williams didn't go to ACT.
Oh, no, he's a different scene, but he lived in Marin, so yeah. But...
Yeah, he actually lived in San Francisco.
Oh, he lived in San Francisco?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Out in the Richmond.
Ah, rest in peace, Robin Williams.
Yeah, I saw him one time getting ice cream at Toy Boat on Clement. I was going there at 10 o'clock at night with a friend, and we were in line, and then my friend, she's like, hey, this guy behind us looks just like Robin Williams. I turned around, I said, that's Robin Williams, silly.
Oh, man.
Anyhow, he was a really nice guy.
I hear he's a tangent, Robin Williams tangent. I hear he's like a sweet guy. Like he would go unannounced sometimes to children's hospitals and perform or entertain the kids. Yeah. I read that article on that. Kind of like his Patch Adams character or whatever. So,
yeah, he used to drop in on comedy stores too, comedy shows, like the local comedy stores, and just come in and do a set for people without anyone knowing that he was going to show up and stuff like that. And
he also loved like anime, like Evangelion. One of my favorite animes of all time was one of his favorites. So, anyways, okay, so going back to so ACT.
Yeah,
but you're still going to college at this time, or
I'm still going to college. Still taking my bio and chemistry and all that fun stuff.
Oh gosh.
And then there was a job opening, and when I was a little kid, I used to walk by ACT, and the first play I ever saw was at ACT, which was Christmas Carol, and I fell in love with the theater since then. And I used to love the movies also.
Were there any Asian actors in that Christmas Carol?
No, there wasn't. But that was a long time ago, and times have changed. And I think there's more minorities in the Christmas Carol at ACT now than there were back then. But it blew me away, the performances of the kids and the story itself when I watched that play. So I used to walk by the theater thinking to myself, one of these days I hope to do something with them, not knowing that however many years later, I would end up getting a job there.
Oh, great.
In their teleservices department. Which is basically their fundraising and ticket sales for the company, because ACT, is a nonprofit organization. Okay. So they make money by donations and by their ticket sales.
And tuition, I guess, right? Or their
but that's more that's more the conservatory side, but the theater itself is a nonprofit, so they only make money through donations and ticket sales. And their ticket sales are low because they're a nonprofit. Well, me getting a job there, starting off as selling tickets to the upcoming shows, I was horrible at it. I always took it personally when people hung up on me and stuff like that. So you're cold calling. For the guys who just start as the beginners, they get you get to do the cold calling as opposed to not really cold calling. You're calling people who've actually went to the theater, like they bought a ticket, but they don't have season tickets. So you want to call them and see if they want to buy season tickets to the upcoming season, or like a package, like a 4-play or something like that.
Yeah, I've received that call before because I've been to an ACT play. I actually saw A Christmas Carol because I took one class, Shakespeare for actors, or Shakespeare, and it's Dominique Lozano.
Oh, Dominique,
Yeah,
I love her.
Dominique. Yeah.
I took a class with her before.
And she's been directing Christmas Carol a couple times. So that was a pretty dope class. I realized I learned a lot, and also I realized Shakespeare's no joke. You can't fuck around with Shakespeare.
Yeah, she's a good teacher too.
She's a good teacher. Yeah.
Yeah, she's great.
But anyway, so so you're doing teleservices, and then
So I'm doing teleservices, and I despise it because I'm horrible at it. So I don't even know how long I'm gonna last at this job.
Yeah.
In the meantime, because I'm an employee of ACT, at that time they allowed their employees to take classes at their evening courses.
Oh, comp?
Comp, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, for the most part.
For the most part,
Yeah.
okay.
So I started to get classes in the evenings, taking acting classes in the evenings while I'm studying science during the day in the university.
Okay.
And I would work at night and find time to take classes here and there because they allow me to take classes, and because it's a top acting program, I always got the training I got, was great, and I didn't have to go through the crazy process of getting into the classes.
Like the audition process, or
yeah, but this is the night courses, so they didn't really require auditions because it's for like people who are working, or it's not their MFA program because they have a master's program there. I didn't do their master's program, but I did do their summer training congress, which is a 10-week. At that time, it was a 10-week summer intensive, 8 to 5 every day for 10 weeks. So we would study, voice, speech, acting, stage combat, Shakespeare, dance, improv, and a bunch of other courses within that 10 weeks.
Do you know that there's a stage combat guy I know, what's his name, Guy or something like that, or he's based in San Francisco. But anyway, so for that, so you did the 10-week course. So you start taking classes at ACT, you really liked it, and then you're like, oh, 10-week course, I'm down. You take that. Okay. Now, during this whole time, let me backtrack a little bit. You saw that first love, that spark for acting was way before ACT, though.
Way before ACT.
Was there was it Christmas Carol that made that spark, you think, or?
Christmas Carol was the start of it.
Okay.
I mean, it's definitely the love of the movies that I started watching as a kid, and my parents would take me to see, movies in the theater, and I fell in love with a lot of the films, and that's when I really thought about acting.
And when you start doing that that first year as a film major, like, oh, actually I want to be more in front of the camera.
Correct.
Okay. So cool. So walk us through. So how was the 10-week program? Pretty dope. Yeah.
Oh, the 10-week program was great because you're immersed in the craft 8 to 5 every day for 5 days a week for 10 weeks.
Yeah.
And so being in that environment, you really get a mini course in being in a 2-year, 3-year master program.
Sure.
Because you're really just immersed in it every day. And it really helps you find this artistic side and to use all your whole body for this craft in every aspect. Because in high school, I didn't take any acting classes. Most of the drama classes in high school, public school at that time, they either dropped the drama department and didn't have any. Because San Francisco public schools couldn't afford it.
And then I started acting in high school, actually. Yeah. there wasn't like a draw acting class I had to take, but I gravitate towards like, oh, I want to get into play. But then it's like, if there's no real acting class, then how do you? Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, and then by the time I transferred into George Washington High, they did have a good drama department, but by then it was too late because people who've been there for 4 years have been, built a repertoire with the teacher, and they're already in their shows and everything like that. And,
Yeah.
And there was no way for me to get in. Plus, growing up in the city, I tend to be more street smarts, and I played a lot of sports and stuff with friends and stuff. So I didn't really do a lot of acting per se back in the high school days. But even though I knew that it was something in the back of my mind, something that I had a passion for, and that I didn't know where or how it was going to happen, and somehow I got very lucky to get a job at ACT and to actually get some training there, and it was a great time.
So you graduated the 10-week program, or you did the 10-week program. You graduate college, and then were you acting also during college? As far as like, did you book any shows, theater, or did you take a break after college? Like,
no, I never took a break. I didn't start auditioning for shows until I think after college. I did take one acting class in college with a really great teacher. I was very lucky. She came from Columbia. She studied with Anne Bogart, and I had no idea because I had taken classes at ACT already, and I had a buddy who needed to take an elective, and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna take an acting class, and you want to take it with me?" And I'm like, "What? Take an acting class at State?" And then he's like, "Yeah," and I was like, and I had a break during that time, so I was like, "All right, I'll take it."
Yeah.
Next thing I know, it was one of the best acting teachers I've ever had.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and she was really great, and I learned a lot from her.
What's her name?
Mary Coleman.
Mary Coleman. Okay.
Yeah, she's great. She's actually a very high executive at Pixar now.
Oh, wow.
But I lost touch with her, but I see her name on the credits, and
right.
it's up there next to John Lasseter, and you're like,
oh my goodness. Wow.
But she's very talented, very, very, very good at what she does. I mean, she's the first acting teacher who really called me out on the work that I did. And it blew me away. I did a scene that was from True West, the Sam Shepard play.
Okay.
And I did the scene. I did my homework. Everyone thought it was great. She thought it was great. But there was one line in that scene that I had no clue what I was saying.
Yeah.
But I said it anyways.
Okay.
And after I did the scene, she's like, "Great job." And she goes, "Oh, by the way, why did you say that line?" I was like, "Oh my God, you are so good. You like spot on, like knew right away that I was bullshitting on that line." And
right.
And I had no clue what I was saying, and she called me out on it, and it blew me away. I mean, only good acting teachers can spot that dead on.
Because the intention's not there, right?
The intention's not there. You're just not specific enough, and that's why I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what I was saying, so I wasn't specific enough. But she was able to catch that, and I learned a lot from it from then on.
I want to circle back to this idea of intention, but so after you take that class with Mary Coleman. And then, did you start acting then, or you try to make money first?
Well, it's not that. I mean, I already started working before I graduated.
Okay,
I was already working for a biotech company down in Mountain View.
Okay.
Just starting out, trying to get my foot in the door, getting experience, and before I start looking for a permanent full-time job.
Yeah.
At that time, biotech was pretty new, so
there
were smaller companies starting up, but getting in the door with no experiences was the tricky part. So.
Yeah, and this is all pre Facebook, all that stuff.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
Pre LinkedIn.
All
that stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, I started working in the biotech, and then I didn't start auditioning yet because I didn't feel I was ready.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't feel I was ready yet. It was funny because Mary Coleman was directing a show at State, and she taught me another lesson, a really good lesson that I'll never forget. She asked me to audition for her show. I think it was The Good Person of Szechuan, and she held auditions, and I didn't show up. I didn't make an appointment, but I just never auditioned
You
for
didn't
it.
even think about it.
I didn't think about it. I just felt I wasn't ready.
Oh, you didn't think you were ready. Okay.
Right? So I didn't go audition. She asked me to audition, and I didn't, right?
How dare you?
Well, that's where I learned my lesson. The next day, class starts, and she calls me over, and she goes, "Hey, you didn't come in to audition for my show." And I'm like, "Well, I didn't think I was ready."
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm gonna teach you a lesson right now, and don't ever forget it. She goes, if a director ever asks you to audition, you audition. So I think she wanted to cast me, but she couldn't if I don't audition.
Oh, damn.
So I learned my lesson there.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Anytime a director has asked me to audition, I would audition
Right.
for a show because that's
You
the
never-
lesson I learned.
Yeah.
You never know. And even though I wasn't ready, she thought I was ready, and she knew I was ready, but because I didn't think I was ready.
Well, when are you ever really ready, I guess?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I was still starting out.
Yeah,
I felt,
yeah.
I felt green.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I just didn't want to take the leap yet.
Yeah.
Like, just taking classes and not knowing if I want to do an actual show.
Do you ever wonder what if you audition, or you like, no, that was a good lesson learned? Or...
Well, it was a good lesson I learned.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it would have probably been nice to do a show, but it was okay. That's
Yeah.
what happens sometimes. That's where you learn your lessons and stuff. But, I was lucky when I did the Summer Training Congress, we did a full play in there. So for the end of our project.
Uh-huh.
And my main acting teacher was Sharon Omi, who's also an Asian actress from LA.
Oh, me,
And,
okay.
and at that time, her husband, Ken Narasaki, was also teaching a world theater class during the Summer Training Congress. They put me in the class with her, so it gave me a good connection with the LA Asian family before I even moved down here.
Wow.
Because they were actually from LA, and Ken used to do shows at AATC. He did like shows for Philip Kankotanda and stuff like that. David Henry Hwang, all those early playwrights back then,
yeah.
and who are now pretty big time.
Cool.
So yeah, the first play I ever did was the play in that program, which was The Rhymers of Eldridge, Lanford Wilson play.
Is this AATC? This is Asian American
No,
Theater?
this is ACT for the Summer Training Congress.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So that's your first. So that's the first play where you felt like, oh, maybe I'm ready. You auditioned for it.
I didn't audition for it because it was part of the acting program.
Acting.
So,
Yeah.
but it was a full length play,
Yeah.
and we did the whole production. Like other classes would do scenes,
Yeah.
but we decided to do the whole play.
Damn. How was that?
It was good. I had to play an 80-year-old hermit, and it was an intense play. If you ever get a chance to read it, it's a good play.
It's a good play. Okay.
Yeah. Lanford Wilson, The Rhymers of Eldridge. Big cast, but
Yeah.
pretty intense.
Cool. So then, So I kind of want to just, before I circle back to some of the topics we hit, I kind of want to get like a, basic timeline up to where we're at now, living in LA, doing the auditioning up, doing the actor's life / work life in LA. So after ACT, you do that Mary Coleman class. So when do you start, or did you find a job? So you've been working already.
Yeah, I've been working ever since then.
Yeah,
I never stopped working while I was in college till now, right? I mean, I was doing biotech and working at ACT. I had 2 jobs at the time.
Damn.
So I would drive to Mountain View, work at a biotech, go back in the evening, work at ACT on the weekends. So I was working 7 days a week,
Jeez.
2 jobs. I know it was crazy. I couldn't believe I did it.
But you love acting, right? So.
But I loved acting, but I didn't love that job. But the funny thing about that job was, you remember I was telling you how much I hated it.
Yeah,
But
the
the manager at the
teleservices,
time
yeah.
noticed that I was terrible at it, and
Yeah.
he decided to give me a chance and work on the clerical side of things, doing like paperwork and stuff like that,
Yeah.
as opposed to being on the phone and calling, which I hated. I ended up being assistant manager to that department.
Oh wow!
After that, yeah, it was so weird. So that's why I was able to stay at ACT for 6 years and actually get classes there, and did the summer training congress and watch all the shows. I got to see all the shows. I saw a lot of great performances there at ACT. All for free at that time.
So that's your training center, basically. Huh?
That's definitely the heart of my training center. That's why I got the certificate right up there.
Oh, nice! I see it. Yeah. Dan, you can't see, but there's a certificate in the back here. Yeah.
Yeah.
From ACT.
ACT. Yeah. Cool. I mean, Dan, have you heard of ACT?
Yeah, my wife, she's really big into ACT. I think she got into acting there, and there's like a very famous professor or famous actor, stage actor from ACT who she works with now.
Oh, nice. Cool. So, yeah, Dan's wife is prominent in the acting/acting education scene right now.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Asian American, yeah.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah. But we can't say her name.
That's okay. No worries.
Anyways, moving forward. So ACT, do you like biotech? Because you've been working biotech since then. Or you're like, or you don't want to go on record. Sorry.
Well, just say biotech helps me
Pay the bills.
survive and pay the bills, and gives me the opportunity to practice my craft.
It's your sponsor.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's something I've been kind of coming to terms, because I just got a full-time job recently, and it's been, because before the full-time, like Dan, I was talking to you about this, but I had more time, but I was like, I felt like less focused because I was anxious about money, when's my next paycheck. I was trying to do like maybe acting gigs, but those are like, when you never know when the next paycheck's coming, and you might have to eat, not that much for a little bit. So now my evenings, I once I leave work, I'm like, okay, now I gotta, what do I need to read? What do I need to write? What do I need to edit? Stuff like that. So I'm a little bit more focused now. Still, I procrastinate here and there, but I'm a little bit more focused, and I'm a little bit less anxious about certain things, Though I did like drop a lot of money on like a used car recently, but so one way I've been able to like kind of like keep focused and try to learn from my work as well. I do like kind of social media stuff, so I've been learning some skills at work. But yeah, the one way I can enjoy my time at work and outside of work is that I see this as a sponsor for my creative process, I guess.
Yeah, and I think everybody's path is different.
Yeah.
And for me, I think I needed that stability in my life.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a starving actor or a starving artist necessarily. I mean, you can have multiple types of careers that you want. I mean, they always say, oh, you got to be a starving actor. But I've seen a lot of people who are starving artists, and it's tough. It's really tough. And sometimes people don't make it, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
And they work hard, but it's just not there. And then there's people who do the art because they love it, and can make a career out of it, which is great.
Yeah.
Right. And there's theater actors that survive and do their thing. For me, I felt fortunate that I have the science background and a little bit of balance in my life to do the art and to do the science. Of course, the art hasn't, helped me pay the bills or anything, but, I'm thankful for all the experiences I've had. Like, I did a lot of theater in the Bay Area.
Okay.
I did shows at Marin Shakespeare Company. I did shows at the Willows Theater Company. I did shows in the city. I did shows in Berkeley. And they all brought me to where I am now, right? I mean, I was equity membership candidate for a long time. I gained my points in working in equity houses. I finally joined Actors Equity Association.
Yeah.
I joined the Screen Actors Guild when I was in San Francisco. I did some independent films and also industrials, which helped me get my SAG card before I moved down to LA. And those were my goals before I wanted to move to LA, was to, be a member of SAG, be a member of Equity, and just know that I don't need to worry about that aspect of it when I move to LA, because everybody and their mother moves down to LA and wants to join SAG and get their vouchers or whatnot. I'm lucky I didn't have to get that. I've already knew what I needed to do before I moved down, or what my goal was before I moved down to LA.
Gotcha.
Right, and that was my goal while I was working in the biotech industry, getting those experiences, getting those type of points or training and goals. Like, I never thought I was going to get my SAG card up there. I don't do background work very often, and I didn't expect to, and I didn't want to get it through background. I actually wanted to get it through just acting. So I actually booked an industrial at that time, which got me to join the Screen Actors Guild at that time. So, I was
in the Bay Area, no less.
In the Bay Area, right?
Yeah.
And that was what people
hard
told me.
Yeah,
it's very hard just to get that coveted SAG card. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's better not to rush to get it, because once you're union, you technically can't work non-union. Right? So, but I did a lot of independent films before I got my SAG card, and you saw a few of them. Some stuff I don't publish because they're not very good, but they gave me the experience. I got to work with good people. I've been very lucky with that.
So to trace a basic outline is basically you were working in biotech in the Bay Area. You started acting in theater first, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Then from there you branched out to short films and got your equity SAG card, and then what made you decide to come to LA then?
Well, I always wanted.
It seemed like you were doing okay in the Bay. As far as Bay Area works, it sounds like you're doing pretty well. A lot of people have a hard time getting a SAG card in the Bay because everyone's doing what's in the Bay Area, commercials, or it seems a little bit tougher to get those cards or get those points, I guess. But
when for SAG there's no points, but for equity there is, right? There's weeks, you have to work 50 weeks in an equity house to qualify to join Actors Equity Association. So I had to work in a show that provided me enough weeks to gain my equity card. It doesn't have to be consecutive, right? I would work because I did shows at Marin Shakes, and I actually did 2 shows at Marin Shakespeare Company. I did Midsummer Night's Dream and Merry Wives of Windsor.
Oh, wow.
And it was an outdoor amphitheater. You work out, Shakespeare in the summer. It's a great theater company, and they do great work there. And it was fun, and that's how I got my equity card, through them mainly. I did a show at the Willows, which was a world premiere musical at that time.
Wow.
And I got points through there, and also another show I did there called Tea House of the August Moon.
Okay.
Yeah, which was an interesting play. So I finally got my SAG card. I finally got my equity card.
Okay.
And my goal was to get those before I moved to LA.
Okay. So you get them.
I get them,
Eventually,
and I don't go to LA just yet. Because I'm working a full-time job. It pays well. It has good benefits. Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But there came a point for me where I started getting burnt out with the job.
What were you doing exactly? Quality assurance or something like that?
I was doing QA validation type work. So
in
biotech.
Biotech.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I was getting a little burnt out, and I felt like it was time for me to make a change, because I pretty much grew up in San Francisco, went to school there, worked in the Bay Area all my life, did a lot of shows there. All my actor friends in San Francisco, most of them had moved down to LA before me, right?
Right.
And I don't know, I just felt it was time to make this change. It was scary for me, because you live in a city for all your life and you grew up there.
Yeah.
And to quit my job was even scarier because there's my stability and income and health benefits and all that stuff. But I decided I had to do it. I mean, I'm not getting any younger, as you can see. And, well, I decided to just bite the bullet and go down and pack my stuff. And
without a job set up?
Without a job set up. Actually, the driving force was a actor friend of mine who was in LA at the time, and his roommate was moving out, and he was like, "Hey, I know you've been wanting to move down.
Yeah.
I got an apartment, 2-bedroom, 2-bath.
Apartment?
No, not this one.
It
was down in West Hollywood area.
Okay.
And that was the driving force actually, because he's the one that kind of like said, "Hey, you don't have to look for a place. There's a place available. If you're interested, I know you've been wanting to move down." And I said, "All right, I think that's
a sign.
That's a sign for me to, since I don't have to worry about looking for a place, yada, yada, yada." So I quit my job.
Damn, okay.
With nothing. And I drive down and I move in with my old friend who became my roommate for a year until the place got renovated and they kicked us out.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
But I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I took that leap of faith, and I wouldn't have had a lot of the great experiences I did these last 3 years here.
I mean, how was it first moving down? Was it kind of? Dan, did you have any questions? Sorry, I'm kind of taking over, but yeah.
I was just curious to see if he's working in biotech down here now.
Good question. Well, for a year I didn't. I was looking for an agent. I got a theatrical agent. I got a commercial agent. I was auditioning. I would audition for everything. I would work any way to make some extra money.
Yeah.
I did some background. I did some game shows. I did some audience work.
Okay. You did like the central casting thing, I guess, right? Yeah.
Central casting, not really. They didn't really call me much central casting, but once in a while I would get something through Central.
Okay.
Just auditions through Actors Access and student films and whatnot. But it was a humbling experience, when you're standing in line to make $9 an hour in cash to see Bill Maher, and you see these people in line with you, and this is their livelihood.
Yeah.
This is what they do. They do whatever they need to do to survive. And I talk to them, and it's very humbling. And I saw that, wow, there's a lot of people here that are struggling. And they do what they need to do to survive.
Because the supply is so high here, right? Of actors. Like, we were joking, like, oh, if we like throw like a rock out the window, we might hit an actor. Actually, and it's LA, right?
Exactly. I mean, they say every month 30,000 people come here to act every month. So. Dan,
did you hear that? 30,000 people input of supply.
I mean, I don't know if this number is accurate, but that's the rumor, right? And I'm sure another 30,000 is leaving at the same time because it's a tough town, right?
Yeah.
And they say if you can last here a year, then you're doing okay and stuff like that. I did go back to biotech as a contractor, as a consultant.
After a year of
and I kept in touch with my biotech connections. Yeah. And there happened to be a position available as a contractor over at a biotech, and I took it because it gave me an opportunity to also make money again, like I did in San Francisco, and also to continue doing my acting. So I was able to continue my education in acting here,
taking classes,
classes and stuff like that, and it was nice to have a regular income again. So it makes a big deal. And I look back at the first year here and I go, it was tough and I learned a lot, but I think in my life I need that stability. And I'm thankful for it because I wouldn't have the health benefits I had
right.
for my recent accident.
Dan, you can't see this, but George, we're here at George's place, and George's right leg is in a cast. He got hit by a vehicle not too long ago. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if
January
you want-
3rd, actually, I was walking home.
Yeah.
And the car made a left turn into a parking lot, and he didn't see me, and he hit the gas, and he plowed into me. Dislocated and broke my ankle in two parts. Both my tibia and fibula broke. I landed on top of his car, bruised my ribs, and then I fell down and slightly dislocated my shoulder and tore some muscles. And that was January 3rd.
Oh gosh.
So it's been 2 months,
2 months
now, and I'm in a cast. And after surgery on February 7th, I was in the operating room for like 4 times with this thing.
Yeah.
And the final surgery, hopefully that's the final surgery, was on February 7th. So right now I'm trying to wait for it to heal, and hopefully I can get back on my feet and start putting weight on and building my muscles again once this 3 weeks are up. But it's been a rough
2018, I guess.
Rough 2018. Starting out, I was gonna take a trip to Burma with some friends. And,
oh man.
That's canceled now, and but I'm thankful for still being alive. Thankful for being here, talking to you guys.
For that too, yeah.
And it could have been a lot worse. So and life is short. So I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I did the acting thing. Where I go from here, I don't know.
How was the acting in LA? Have you done shorts here? Have you done theater here? Or it's been kind of slow coming so far?
It's a little slow coming for me. I've been auditioning. I did do a couple independent short films.
Okay.
That never went anywhere.
It happens. Yeah.
It happens. But, the experience was good. My agents send me out on auditions here and there, and I'm thankful for that. I have an agent in New Orleans also, so I was putting myself on tape for productions out in New Orleans.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot as an actor these past 3 years here. It's a tough industry, and I think that the Asian acting community world is getting better. There's obviously a lot more that we see on TV and film.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm not sure where I fit in, but I take it day by day and just being thankful for where I'm at, and we'll see what happens in the future.
Yeah. Dan, did you have a follow-up to that?
Yeah, when you were working as a contractor for a biotech, how did you get to auditions if they were in the daytime?
There's the rub.
Well, being a contractor, it's fairly flexible. And, I work hourly. So if there are times when I have a audition the next morning, I would just let my employers know that I'll be coming in a little late and covering those hours in the evening, or if I book a gig, then I would have to discuss with them. But the good thing about the contracting company that I work for, they know about my acting.
Okay.
And they fully support my my career in acting.
Oh, good.
So that's the nice thing about that. They, as opposed to when I was in San Francisco, I kind of kept it on the down low.
Yeah.
So it's a little different here, especially being a contractor as opposed to a full-time employee.
So and that's something I'm kind of doing now. I'm a contractor as well, and then I have a commitment next week for this, focus group shoot or whatever. And yeah, I guess I gotta let them know, hey, this thing came up, and I think it should be fine. They seem pretty cool where I'm working now, but uh, some things I want to circle back to is well, okay, so we talked about how that Mary Coleman she caught you like that line you had no intention, right? And this is something Dan and I've been talking about a lot. Is you've done Wing Chun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, hey, Dan, George, wait, how long have you been doing Wing Chun for? Or
It was on and off.
on and off,
Yeah.
okay. But they talk about something about acting with intention or doing martial arts with intention, right? Where you do the forms, um, and I think there's a crossover with acting. I think even with like watching Bruce Lee, I felt that he was a strong actor. There's some of his moments seemed like very wow, he's got a lot of power in this moment. I think there is some crossover of acting in the sense that when you do forms, like you can kind of tell when a person has like they have no idea what this move means. It's like this fancy move, and they do it, and they're like, "What the fuck is this person? What is this guy dancing, or is this actual like martial arts or something?" Right? Have
Right.
you seen that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
then but if the person is doing it like with intention, you're like, "Oh damn, I don't want to mess with this fool."
Yeah, and they understand what that movement is for and why they're doing it, as opposed to just doing the motions, right?
Right, right. Dan, would you agree with that? Like, there's a connection.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely is.
yeah. And
How
yeah, go ahead.
how long have you been doing Wing Chun, and how did you start in San Francisco?
Well, actually, I did a bunch of different martial arts in San Francisco. I started doing northern style kung fu, and then did some Shaolin, and then some Chen style Tai Chi, uh, and then Wing Chun came because a buddy of mine was doing Wing Chun, and he would train privately at this guy's garage in Vallejo. So
That's
Shout,
far.
yeah,
out
it
to
was
Vallejo.
far, but he would pick me up. So I was like, okay, you pick me up, I'll go. And then so I would he would pick me up because I used to work in Novato, so I had to cross the Golden Gate Bridge every day.
Oh dang.
And he would pick me up and drive to Vallejo, and we would practice Wing Chun in this guy's garage. And he was really good. He studied under, I forgot who he studied under, but it was it was the lineage was Leong something.
Leon. Okay.
Yeah, but he's like lineage of Itman and all that stuff. But
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, that guy didn't he get busted for like he has like a bunch of kids for like different women.
I'm not sure.
What?
I'm not sure about
Yeah,
that.
there's a Wing Chun guy from the Man lineage in Hong Kong. I think it's like Leung Ting.
No, I think it was Leung Sheng. I think was the guy that. Uh,
It's one of the. It was a famous Wing Chun guy.
Oh wow. Oh.
maybe.
He might be in prison for something else.
Well, I think this guy is. I don't think he's around anymore.
Uh,
But
Oh,
yeah,
he passed or
I think so.
okay.
But I don't know. Okay, we could look it up.
But yeah.
Um,
So you did Wing Chun and some Tai Chi. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, so it was kind of a private thing. It's not like officially, a school that I went to or
Like
anything like
academy or
that.
something.
Yeah, it was just me and three other guys, and we're just
Dude,
in
I
the
think
garage. And
that's some of the best learning. I don't know. I've done that before. Dan, have you done that before? Guys in the garage just learning.
no, there's a guy who does Wing Chun like that in Alhambra, or he did for a while, and he opened a school finally.
Oh, cool.
oh, really?
Gary Lamb.
Oh, Gary Lamb. Yeah, I heard about him.
Okay,
I was thinking of taking his class.
that's cool.
He's very expensive, I hear.
Oh, is it? I'm
Yeah,
trying to find. I was trying to find another teacher in the garage, but it's kind of hard.
Teacher.
Well, he was doing that in his backyard for a long time, and then he finally opened a school in downtown Alhambra or something like that.
Oh, nice.
But I've come across some of his students, and they tell me he charges an arm and a leg.
Oh, really?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. It's hard for me. It's hard to find a good martial arts teacher because a lot of them are like so commercialized now, and I don't know. I'm just not into the commercialized martial arts
Yeah.
teachers.
You know what's very common in LA these days are a lot of Shaolin schools popping up.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Or
Yeah, there's one in Chinatown.
It's like Shaolin USA
Yeah,
or
like
something like that, or
a monk doing it.
Oh, okay.
Really?
I mean,
Yeah.
That's cool.
as far as LA is the place of show business, right? And then what's cooler than a monk, I guess, or like Shaolin has a very prestigious name, so maybe it's good. I don't know. I was on a shoot actually recently, and I talked to a guy who's trained Shaolin in China, and I asked him about Chinese martial arts, and he's like really he did the Shaolin, he did some Shaolin and Wushu, and but now he's all about Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu Jitsu.
Wow.
And I asked him about it. He's like, dude, like most of those guys don't know how to fight, like real talk, and he's trained with some of those guys, right? But like real talk, it depends on what your intention is, your focus is, right? Some of that is for performance aspect.
Oh yeah.
Especially like if you're doing stunts in film and stuff like that. Those things, those wushu skills,
yeah.
it's like more like acrobatics. Or Dan was telling me earlier, like it's like more gymnastics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's true. It's beautiful. I
It's
mean,
beautiful.
those movements are beautiful.
I have
The-
much respect for it, and
Exactly.
I'm sure those guys can still like beat up most people who are not physically fit. But as far as straight to the point street fighting, that's it's a different animal, right? Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. But anyways, so that's my martial arts tangent. Yeah. Dan, did you have a follow up?
No, I agree. I mean, it's just very hard to find a school that's not commercialized. But I think you're more likely to find a legitimate school in San Francisco than you are in LA these days.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing is
Just my thoughts.
we saw a few of your short films. One we can talk about is I guess Box of Hearts, right? That's one of the more recent short films that you did.
Yeah, one of the more recent ones, directed by Asako
Okay.
Ishio.
When did you guys shoot that?
Actually, it was a while ago now that I think about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was in 2009 that we shot it,
Oh wow. Okay.
maybe. Yeah,
So it's been a bit actually. Yeah.
in a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you get involved with that? Or do you guys still have to keep in touch or?
Yeah, she's the director still in LA.
Okay.
She does more editing now than she does filmmaking. I got into that film because of Victor Young actually. Victor Young was at the LA Asian Pacific Film Festival.
Okay, so for you guys who don't know, Victor Yang was another short film that George did. Yeah.
And when Victor Young was being screened at LA Asian,
Yeah.
as you know, Rich Wong was our DP, and his friend Asako was there at the screening, and I met her in LA, and at that time I was still living in San Francisco.
Okay.
So I met her in LA, and she saw my performance in Victor Young, and
Yeah.
we kept in touch, and she wanted me to be in her film, and she actually flew me down from San Francisco to shoot Box of Hearts.
Wow.
I was flattered because there's so many actors in LA
Sure.
that she could have had anybody, but she actually flew me down, put me up. We shot for the weekend, and the rest is history. But it was a nice gesture on her part to see me in that role for the father.
How was the shooting experience?
It was great. It's working with Rich is an amazing experience.
Shout out to Rich Wong. He's a I guess he's famous DP now, or yeah.
Well, he's a well-known cinematographer. He DP'd
friends
for
with,
Wayne Wang. He did a couple
okay.
of Wayne Wang's films.
Wayne, yeah.
He's done a lot of TV shows and stuff like that.
Good friends with one of our other guests, Sang Chen. Yeah.
Very
Who
good
you've
friends with
worked
Sang.
Yeah.
Well, Sang helped with Victor Young and maybe
People.
not Box of Hearts, but with Victor Young, he definitely helped out.
Dan, did you notice in Victor Yang the short? Did you see Sang?
No.
He was the crazy guy on the street.
Oh.
Yeah, he was the crazy guy yelling in the street
I was like, that
into
guy
the
looks
bar.
familiar. Yeah. Cool. So like so that was like your connection with the LA. Well, you've had some friends in the LA Asian American scene, but here and there. But yeah, so Do you still keep in touch with Rich or any of those guys? Or
Yeah, I still keep in touch with Rich every once in a while. Just message him online and stuff like that. I haven't seen him in a while.
yeah,
He's busy. He's shooting all kinds
he's
of
got a
different
family
things
now.
and stuff, and he has a family right now. So
Speaking of which, I do kind of want to talk about. So Dan,
Yeah.
George was in the hospital for a bit, and he had some. Do you want to talk about your visitors? No. Well, anyways, I visited in the hospital, and some of those dude, some of those environments are like, it must be tough, man. Like trying to like day in day out. But I think it's good to have visitors, especially like. I mean, I personally haven't. Luckily, knock on wood, I haven't had. I've been in the hospital when I was a kid, like when I fell from a tree. But having family there or having some friends visiting, it makes a huge difference, right?
it definitely makes a huge difference, and I'm thankful for all the friends that I've made in LA and who've come by and supported me during this rough time. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have any family down here in LA, so it was rough. But I'm thankful for all the friends I've made and who've come to support me and help me out during my time of need. And I
Yeah.
appreciate that
Yeah.
from the bottom of my heart, from everybody, to just coming by to say hi, or to someone bringing me food or fruit, or coming by multiple times. You've come by multiple times, and I appreciate that truly. And it makes a big difference in helping me cope with the situation and the healing process, because it's a tough environment, being in a hospital and then being in a nursing facility and feeling helpless. I mean, I can't do anything on my own while I was in those places, and
Yeah.
it was really tough, just not having anyone around,
Yeah.
family wise and stuff like that. So it helped anytime somebody came in. It definitely helped me with my soul and my healing.
Yeah.
And those are true emotions, and in my acting stuff, you just, acting is about truth and
Yeah.
and being truthful, and I know that I can draw on those experiences for my craft, and also knowing that there's good people in this world.
Yeah. I mean, were you surprised by like some of the support of like who came to visit, or like would you say there's a lot of support in the Asian American acting community or acting community in general? Like,
Yeah. I mean, a lot of my friends that came by are in the Asian acting community world, including Robert Wu, who was in
Bad
Guys with
Yeah,
me,
okay.
and a few other Asian actors like Raymond Ma and a few other people that are
Oh, cool.
close to me.
We'll leave some of the links to these short films and the ones that George can share. We'll leave in the comments below, in the text in the show notes.
And if anyone wants to see something, they can contact me too.
Right, they can contact George. George at his email. Which, are you okay sharing that, or?
Yeah, geogenes@yahoo.com.
Okay, cool. Or you can also email us at Yin Young podcast at gmail.com for any like requests and thoughts. If you love us, hate us, whatnot. So let's see. Dan, did you have any thoughts on the shorts that we watched?
No, not right now. I mean, yeah.
We did some research on you before we
Really?
I did want to say, for Bad Guys, it's not like a long short, man. How dare Roy? It's like 30 minutes.
That was shot on 35mm black and white.
Wow. To be honest, even though it's long, it's like probably one of my favorite it's one.
It was a really great cinematographer for that, and that video doesn't do it justice,
No, that
because
video
when it
was
was
like-
when it was on film,
Yeah.
it was beautiful.
It's
Like
beautiful.
the cinematography was with a Russian camera, and he knew his lighting. That DP was good.
Yeah, dude, it looks. I could tell, it's like, dude, this could look a lot better if the quality, because it's on the one on Vimeo you have is.
It's been transferred so many times.
Oh my gosh.
That's why it looks like crap.
Yeah.
But the actual film, when it was screened at the film festivals,
Yeah.
looked amazing.
Oh my gosh, because that was back in the day. That was like 2000.
One.
Dang. Dude, and then one of our homies, Theo Chin, one of our other guests, is in it. I mean, how was it acting with Theo? Did you know him at all? Or?
Yeah, feels great. I mean,
Yeah.
he also did the Summer Training Congress, but I think the year before me.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he's from the Bay. Yeah.
Yeah, and Robert Wu, who was also in the film with me, who's done a lot of films recently. He was in Survivor's Remorse on Stars. He was in Ted, and he was recently in a Verizon commercial that just aired. Anyhow.
Survivors Remorse. Okay, I'm looking up right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look at him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing really well. He did a lot of voiceover for Family Guy too.
Nice.
Great actor.
It's a fun film, and a lot of physical comedy from you coming.
Thanks. Yeah, it was a tough shoot. Bad Guys was, hopping in that chair was no joke.
One take, right?
At that time, yeah.
How many takes of that did you guys do?
Couple.
Wow.
It's a couple of takes, but because everything was physical, I couldn't talk or anything.
Right.
I was pretty much gagged up the whole time.
So, yeah, that's ridiculous. Did he actually have tape on you?
Yeah.
The whole time? I would think he would take it off.
Yeah, not with the bag over my head. Then I didn't have it taped up, but I was pretty much tied up. And
just for
like
our
that.
listeners who don't have a chance to see that film, George is basically gagged and tied up to a chair for 90% of the film.
Well, I get kidnapped, right? And
he gets kidnapped,
and the film is about these Asian guys kidnapping this guy for ransom, but they really aren't quote unquote bad guys. They want to be bad guys, but they're really not. And I think that's the joke of the film. And
Yeah. We'll leave the ending for the homies, the listeners. Okay, I'm gonna do Dan. I had a quick section I wanted to try, unless you had something else real quick. Or yeah.
No. What's a new section?
I want to do an Oscars section. The Oscars movies of 2017. George and I watched the ceremony, which is whenever this gets released, is probably months ago. I'm so bad at releasing these episodes, but I think we can still talk about the films. It won't be too dated. We can still talk about the films, and for months from now, it'd still be relevant, I would think. Okay, so let's go down some of the Oscar. Okay, Dan, what was one of your favorite Oscar films, nominated films?
For Best Picture or just in general?
Let's start with in general. Yeah.
In general.
George, I'll let you
Coco.
think about Coco. Yes. George.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I agree. Coco was one of my favorite films. I saw it 3 times in the theater.
I could not control myself.
I was actually watching it today.
What?
Sort of.
Yeah. Okay. No, Coco, it's a beautiful film. And one thing my friend told me is that, or actually I read this online, China, it was gonna get banned in China because in China you're not supposed to have like supernatural stuff, right? Because it's ghosts or the afterlife. That's censored usually in China, but the censor board was so touched by the film they just pushed it through. Okay, quick thoughts about Coco, Dan.
I just liked it. Really good story.
Yeah, George. You already shared that. Yeah, I mean, I think the family values from it are there's the strong Latino family values. They are very analogous to Asian American or Asian values, I think.
I agree. I mean, for Vietnamese, when somebody passes away, we don't have a day of the dead like the Latinos, but we do have a dinner or event for the family on the day of the passing.
Yeah.
And we put food on the altar. We light incense on that day, and we celebrate their life by giving them the food that they enjoyed and sending it up to the spirits for them on that day. So it's a special day.
I mean, we do something. Dan, do you do this tomb sweeping day?
Yeah, it's in
Qingming.
April.
Yeah.
Funny thing about that, I asked my dad about that, and he said it's he called it Easter for Chinese people. I was like, there's a Chinese Jesus? He didn't respond to that.
He did not
Uh,
respond to that.
no, I don't think he got the joke.
Is that when you
Oh,
guys go to the cemetery, right?
we
Yeah.
literally sweep the tombs. Yeah.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
we clean them up. Yeah.
Because I grew up in San Francisco, so all my friends are Chinese
Or
American,
kept.
and
Yeah.
they'd
Yeah. Yeah.
always go to the cemetery
Yeah.
on that day or that month.
清明节. Yeah. Cool. So okay, George, a movie you can share. Okay, how about this? A movie that you really liked, or a movie you did not like that aside from Coco from Oscars that you want to talk about, and then I'll go after you. Yeah.
Well, I really like Three Billboards.
Dan, did you see Billboards?
Yes.
Okay, you guys can talk about it, but yeah, go ahead.
I really like that story. I think the characters were fleshed out, and the writing was really good. I also liked I Tanya.
Oh, I really liked I, Tanya.
I liked,
Dan, you see I, Tanya?
That one I did not see.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, when I saw it, I knew Allison Janney would win the best
Best supporting.
actress after seeing it. I mean, I called it out right after I saw it, and it was a given.
Her bitchy mom portrayal, so good.
So good.
It's like, it's like, but the thing is, it's layered too. There's like, at first it's like I'm kind of maybe she loves her, maybe there's some love in there, in like a fucked up way, like. But anyways, okay. But Three Billboards, you would say, was your favorite of the Best Picture nominations?
That would have been my pick.
Really?
Yeah.
Dan, was that your pick for the Best Picture nominations?
That's a tough one. I guess, yeah, for Best Picture, that was probably it. Or that one or Get Out.
I had Get Out. I have not seen Three Billboards. It just doesn't appeal to me. Like looking at the ads and like the trailer.
You should watch it.
I'll give it.
Good.
Dan, should I give it a shot? Three Billboards.
You know what? If you want to watch acting,
Yeah.
the interplay between
Rockwell.
Woody Harrelson and Sam Rockwell is really good.
Okay. All right. Okay, my movie I'll talk about. I did not like The Shape of Water.
Yeah.
I know. So I'm gonna get some haters for this, but George and I agree on this. We've talked about this extensively. Shape of Water. I couldn't get into it. I went on a date to see Shape of Water, and she's kind of like into like, I don't she's into like lovey-dovey stuff, or like she's into like fantasy a little bit. But I mean, I think you can still be into those things, and I think I like romantic comedies. I like some fantasy elements too, but I could not get into that film. I just thought it was too artificial for me. It was a little bit too calculated. Everything was too calculated. There was like no, this they say in acting, organic acting, right? Or organic chemistry, right? It's kind of like it just comes out of spontaneity. There's a feeling, even though it could be thoroughly rehearsed, there's a feeling of spontaneity, improvisation in it. But there's no feeling of that for me. It was just too pretty for me, and everything seemed too calculated to me. I don't know. Did you guys have any different feelings or similar feelings? Dan?
I just didn't enjoy it. I just didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, I like fantasy. I like Guillermo del Toro. I really loved Pan's Labyrinth, and unfortunately for me, for Shape of Water, I couldn't believe that a lady would fall for this fishman so easily, and and mate with it.
Oh God.
And then the bad guy was just always bad. Like he had no depth to it. Michael Shannon's a great actor, but
Yeah.
he was just a caricature of a angry, mean guy who just wants to
Agent guy.
torture
Yeah.
this fishman, which made no sense to me either. Why he would just want to torture it, and there was a thing on Facebook the day of the Oscars, and they were comparing this 80s movie called Splash. I don't know if you guys ever seen it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, they were comparing the two, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's pretty similar, except, Splash was a comedy, and this
And,
wasn't. But I like Splash a lot more.
I enjoyed Splash. Dan, have you seen Splash?
Oh yeah, definitely. Tom Hanks,
Tom
Johanna.
Hanks.
Exactly.
Tom Hanks, one of the most authentic, honest actors I've ever seen. Yeah, very honest with his feelings.
Ron Howard
Except
directed
for
that,
The
too.
Post. Have you seen The Post?
I have not seen The Post. That does, yeah. Have you seen it?
I finally watched it, and there's a scene where he's with Meryl Streep, and it just didn't seem real.
Which scene was that?
When they were eating, having lunch, and there was like some laughter. It's at the very beginning of the movie.
You know, it was funny you say that because I went to a screening of The Post with Spielberg there, and they said that scene was the first scene they shot, and there was no like rehearsals or anything. So that scene was literally the first scene they shot in the movie, and. Yeah, and Spielberg, he's a great director, but I think he just rushed that movie out. I mean, it took him 9 months to put that movie out because of the political climate, and he wanted to make sure it came out as soon as it could because he's in the middle of making Ready Player One.
Right.
And he, in the middle of making Ready Player One, he decides to do The Post. And the team that did Ready Player One jumped in to help him do The Post in 9 months and release it.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy how fast he released it, but it probably didn't, provide the impact which he was probably hoping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It got nominated, but as far as like critical or like buzz about that film, it seems fairly quiet. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because as you notice, like some of the movies that were nominated didn't get a lot of buzz. Like the Denzel film didn't get a buzz. I didn't see that film at all. I didn't even have any screenings for it. The Phantom Thread didn't get a lot of buzz. Daniel Day-Lewis was great in that, actually.
Okay.
Well, he's always good.
Yeah, and they kind of just disregarded that movie too. I mean, it was nominated, but there wasn't a lot of press for it.
I've got a question. Do you guys know if there were any Weinstein movies that were nominated?
Oh. I mean, if there were, they might have taken that label off, maybe. I don't know.
So I was wondering if like Phantom Thread was one of those movies.
Huh.
I don't remember. It could have been. You know what? It could have been.
I was just telling Dan this. The Me Too movement is actually getting more traction in like other countries because of what's happening in the U.S. Like in Korea, a lot of directors, and like this poet, he's like a Nobel Prize favorite to win, they're being called out for sexual harassment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I think that's great. I mean, it's for something to happen in the U.S. that helps make the world a better place, like in other countries, and for women to speak up. It's dope. I don't know. Yeah.
Can I ask? Go ahead.
I just was wondering about that because I didn't hear any of the Weinstein movies.
That's true. I don't know.
I don't know
what came out.
I would have to Google some stuff, but I'm pretty sure that they would be very, very low key on his involvement in the film.
How did you feel about the short that Kobe won?
He paid for it.
Exactly. It's messed up because there's so many great shorts. People work hard. They save up all their money, or they do a great story or whatnot, and Kobe comes in with his basketball story and hires John Williams as the composer, and I don't know who does the artwork for him, but
that guy did a lot of artwork for Disney, Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast and all that stuff.
Yes, yeah.
He's pretty famous.
Glenn Keane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For him to win the Oscar just really irks me.
Yes. Okay. Sorry, Kobe. Hey, if you want to hire me for your next short, let me know. But Kobe Studios. But I gotta give you real talk. I went to a screening, one of the Oscar screenings for the shorts, just pre-Oscar weekend, right? And yeah, Kobe was there. I was like, "Who's that really tall black guy?" Oh my God, it's Kobe! And I didn't even look at the pamphlet before. I just wanted to see the short films because I'm writing a short film right now. I was like, oh, this would be good, like research. So I went to go see the short films. I was like, what's Kobe doing here? And oh, he has a short. Anyways, I saw all the shorts. I saw all the live action animated ones, and I saw the animated ones. And there's one in particular. Shout out to Empty Space, right? It was based on a poem about a guy. How one of the things that he shared with his father was learning how to pack a suitcase. And it's pretty dope. It's stop motion. It took him like 9 months to make. It's ridiculous, right? And it's beautiful. And okay, Kobe short was first that I saw it. Nice animation is very smooth, heartfelt. Made me think about like it's him. It's basically his retirement speech, right? He talked about how this is my body. I've used it up to its fullest. My love for this game. I've used it, and now it's for what's my next stage. I guess it's making movies. And anyways, it was good, but yeah, I thought there were some other shorts were like so much stronger. Real talk. And no offense to Kobe, I thought his short was great, but I think he still has a lot of room to grow as a filmmaker slash writer. Like he was. What did he do for that short? He wrote that text for it, and he gave his input on it. He paid for it, like Dan said, right? So, but Glenn was the direct create. Animated and directed it. But
And John Williams was the
John
composer.
Williams was the composer.
I mean, no, yeah, I saw it too. I went to the John Williams concert at the Hollywood Bowl, and they screened it there, and Kobe was there, and
Wow.
and it was great. I enjoyed the short,
Yeah.
but I don't think it deserves an Academy Award. That's my take.
Yes. Dan, what's your take?
Pretty much it. I mean,
He paid for it.
I respect him as a basketball player, but he purchased that Oscar. But it's not any different from Weinstein Company doing the same thing for
That's true. I
Shakespeare in
mean,
Love.
it's definitely you're definitely the publicity and stuff like that. It's
Wait, Shakespeare. Sorry, Dan. What are you saying about Shakespeare in Love?
Well, Weinstein, they say he basically bought that Oscar back in 1999 when
Really?
it beat out Saving Private Ryan. If you think about it, up until then, whoever won the Best Director, that film is usually the Best Picture winner too.
Okay.
And then after that whole Saving Private Ryan and Shakespeare in Love thing, it started deviating quite a bit.
Right. We noticed that too. Like usually, more recent years, it was usually different, right? Director was something, and then picture was another director.
Yeah.
But well, this year it was both. It was
Guillermo.
Guillermo.
Yeah.
Good for him, but sorry Guillermo, I did not like your film.
Did you guys watch Dunkirk?
I did.
I did, yeah. Did you see it?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Oh wow. Uh-oh. George and I really liked it.
Well,
What did you not like about it?
I just didn't think there was much of a story.
That's true. Okay. It's
True. I mean,
Who's the protagonist?
did you see Darkest Hour?
Yes.
I did not. How's that for you guys?
So Darkest Hour is almost the same story as Dunkirk, right? I mean, a little bit different because it's about
Churchill.
Winston Churchill.
yeah, Churchill to get the boats to Dunkirk to save the troops, and with Nolan's film, it's about the same thing, except you actually see what the troops are going through, and at 3 different time frames, right? One is a day, an hour, a day, or a week, and a month, or something like that, right? I can't remember exactly.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the confusing part. A lot of people see, and it's not conventional, and I think Nolan's good for that. I like the visuals in Dunkirk. I like that he shot it in 70, and just to do that and to get those shots, I thought were amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the story itself was was pretty
sparse.
pretty simple and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But it was
yeah.
interesting the way he cut it and how the different timelines were shown. I can understand people not liking that though.
Yeah, here's what I'm gonna say about Dunkirk. I went to a screening where he spoke about the film afterwards, right? So that was pretty dope. It was like a double screening of Dunkirk and Interstellar. And tangent, there was like this really cute Chinese girl there, and I was like, she wore this shirt, and she had like a nice, chest area, and her shirt said, "So it goes," right? I was like, oh my god, that like, because that's a quote from Kurt Vonnegut. Slaughterhouse-Five.
Slaughterhouse-Five.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. So I went up to her. Oh, hey, do you like Kurt Vonnegut? And she was like, she just went like this, like she raised her shoulder, like, huh? And like, yeah, you're sure it says so it goes. She's like, huh? And then walked away. So and then I realized so sorry tangent, but I sat during the second film. She sat closer to me. I was like, oh, maybe I'll sit. Yeah. And I was listening. Oh, they're Chinese. They're speaking Chinese. So I went up to like her and her friend, like, oh, hey. How would you guys in Chinese say, hey, what did you guys think of the last film? And they looked at me like I was crazy. Yeah? And I was like, oh yeah, I heard you guys speaking Chinese, and I sat down in my seat because like they were just like, huh? They looked at me and they looked at their phone. I was like, damn it. Anyways, another story about that screening was that some guy, I was standing in standby line for that screening for Dunkirk, and this guy, he's like, hey, are you by yourself? I'm like, yeah. This is an older white guy. I'm like, yeah. He's like, I need a ticket? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh yeah, he's my guest. So, and I was like, okay. He had an extra ticket, and he had like one of the like these fancy ass Academy tickets, right? So I was like, oh dope. I get to sit in the reserve seat, and then when Nolan went to speak, I went to the front and sat in those seats. I was like, whoa, this is great. But this is how paranoid I am. I got a drink, right? And I left it, and I went to use the bathroom. And as I was taking a piss, and I was sitting next to the older Caucasian gentleman who got me the ticket. I was thinking, wait, what if he's like gonna date rape me? Like I'm thinking to myself, shit, I should not have left my drink unattended. So what I did was I went back. Oh, you guys might think I'm crazy. I went back and I took the drink. Like, oh hey, excuse me. I took the drink and I left. And I went to the girl. I feel so bad for her. I said, hey, this drink tastes kind of funny. She's like, oh, which one was it? I was like, oh, it was the lemonade. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry about that. I'm like, oh, it might just be me. No, don't worry. I'll take care of it. Here, let me get you a new drink. So I got a new drink. Okay.
You saved your life.
Anyways, who knows? No, he seemed like a nice enough guy, but you never know. Like I've been hit on by black man, white man, whatever, and you gotta be careful out there, Like, yeah. So I was like, I didn't know what his intentions were by giving me the free ticket. He seemed nice enough. We talked about film and stuff like that, and he's knowledgeable. Anyways, okay. Bringing it back. So I get to sit up close to Nolan, and when he's doing his talk, and he talked about the Dunkirk, how in the last part of Interstellar, I think it's called the Shepherd's theory or Shepherd's rule, where in the last part of Interstellar, it starts getting kind of cyclical as far as the tempo. In music, the Shepherd's theory or whatever, I believe that's the name of it. Music can rise, then falls back, and then rise again, fall back, rise again. Kind of like this sort of tempo of rising, falling a little bit, not all the way, but then rising again in the next tangential section. So, and he's like thinking for Interstellar, he did that for the last third act, right? He's thinking, oh, what if I took that third act and applied the same concept towards a whole movie? And which is basically what he did. He had 3 different stories, and one rose, and then basically the next section started slightly lower before their climax, and it rose a little bit, and then the next section started. So, anyways, I watched the film and I liked it. I thought that this kind of like, it's like an art house film. And he even says this. It's like an art house film disguised as a major blockbuster. Right?
It's very stylized.
It's very stylized. Now, I talked to my older white friend who I made there. He made he made a good point. He did not like the movie, and he was like an older, you know, I think he yeah. Anyways, I don't want to talk. Yeah, he mentioned, that scene where spoiler guys, to audience members, spoiler Dunkirk. There's a scene where they're shooting the freaking boat, right? There's holes in the boat. And they're all these like 12 guys or like 10 guys are all in this hiding out in this empty vessel, and even the ship owner comes in and gets trapped there too. They pull him in, right? And all of a sudden there's these someone's doing target practice, right? They at first they think they're being shot at, but then they realize, oh, it's centered. Someone's doing target practice. And then I'm like, but they still stay in there. Like no one's willing to go leave, right? And then they get in the water. Water starts seeping in, and the person's still shooting in the same area. It seems a little bit like, wait, where's the bullet coming from? That bullet, the direction of that bullet, that means the person's shooting from like the ocean, then maybe, or is he shooting from the beach? I don't think so. It seemed a little, and he made a good point. It seemed a little contrived. Like it was made to create tension in that scene, but logistically speaking, or physically speaking, how plausible is that scenario? Like, why did those guys stay there and basically like almost die? Some of them did die, right? And I thought that, oh, that's a fairly good point. And I think that's an issue with some of Nolan. Nolan, I think, is still like a really strong filmmaker, great filmmaker. But I think sometimes he does have certain scenes where they seemed a little bit made for the sake of drama. Sometimes, I think as a whole, his films are very strong though. Like The Dark Knight, some of the
Inception.
best yeah, Inception. But there are some scenes where I'm like, man, it seemed like he just made that just. But the thing is, what is film? Film is made for tension, right, and drama. But yeah, I do feel like there has to be some sort of plausibility and organicness to it. But Dan, sorry to wrap it up. What did you hate about Dunkirk?
I think I expressed that. It just didn't feel. I mean, it looked good.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. But overall, I just didn't feel connected with that movie at all. I mean,
it seemed a very what's the word? He seemed a little distant from the characters a little bit. I guess the way he filmed it. But okay, we should wrap it up. George, anything you wanted to share before? Well, the next thing we're gonna do is language corner. But like anything you want to share, from your experiences. Oh, here's one thing. Let me know if you want to do this. Advice you would give to up and coming actors who are thinking about moving to LA, maybe, or Asian American actors in general. Advice you would give to a younger, maybe like a younger version of yourself who's thinking about starting acting, maybe from the Bay Area, think about moving to, or from some other part of the U.S. or the world, and is thinking about coming to LA as Asian American male actor. Yeah.
I think just if you really want to do it, if you have a passion for it and you love it and you think that's what you want to do, then I say do it, because there's only one life, and it may be rough, it may be hard, and there's not one right way to do it either. So if you feel that you want to do it, do it. If you want to do something else with it, do something else with it. If you want to pursue it, then pursue it. But I say do the homework. You don't necessarily need a degree or something like that, but I say take classes, definitely, and try different things, improv, voice, speech, Shakespeare, and read a lot of plays, read a lot of good writing, and go for it.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks. All right. So yeah, Dan, anything else before we move to Language Corner and sign off?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Yay. Language Corner. Yay.
Yay.
So Language Corner for today. We brought this up a little bit earlier. Qingmingjie. So Qingmingjie is basically Tomb Sweeping Day, and basically you see a little bit of this in Coco, but it's basically like where we like in Chinese culture or Taiwanese culture they celebrate the ancestors, right? Or they so there's this plot of land in Lugang where all my ancestors are buried. And I had the privilege to go there and see that. And we would prepare food. And one food that I want to mention real quick is 巴掌. 巴掌 is 粽子 in Chinese. This is the sticky rice in the triangle. It's so good. It's like, and I think I don't know, Dan, you can tell me but I think the saturated fat is, pretty high, but it's like, you got braised pork in there, you got the tea egg in there, you've got the sauteed mushroom in there. Oh my God, it's delicious, right? And that's one thing I do miss. So 清明节 ba zhang and 粽子 ba zhang you can also eat for like there's I'm gonna share a quick story. So the ba zhang is for another holiday. I think it's Dragon Boat Festival. So ba zhang was for Dragon Ball Festival because a poet was like, I forget why, but he committed suicide. He was so depressed, he committed suicide, and to prevent the fish from eating up his body, the people who loved him put the sticky rice into the lake, so the fish would eat the rice instead of his body. So that's like the legend, right? But anyways, that's my language / cultural corner. Did you guys want to share anything? Like, we just share basically a phrase or something from our culture, a phrase from our culture. Dan, did you have anything?
Yeah, I don't know why. I have a feeling, I can guess why, but in Japan, they use this word Yankee for people who are delinquents. So usually it's someone who's dyed their hair blonde or whatever, and does like really bad stuff like steal. They call them Yankees.
Okay. Yankee. So that sounds like an American. Or is there?
Yeah, it's a borrowed word. It's for like American.
Ah, そうですね. Okay.
Yeah.
So Yankee is for like someone who's trying to be American, or like
No, who's a delinquent? And
delinquent.
they dye their hair blonde and all this other stuff.
Ah, cool. George, you have anything or?
Yeah, I mean, going with the cocoa thing, in Vietnamese, we have that thing called Nam Zo, which is
Namzo.
to honor the person who's passed away in your family, and we would lay out all their favorite foods and light incense and give a prayer and ask them for health and the taking care of us and watching over us. Usually it's the eldest son or eldest child would have that dinner on the day that they were passed away, and the entire family would come and celebrate.
This is pronounced Namzo.
Namzo.
Yeah. Quick thought: are your parents cool with you acting? You bring up family. Were your parents always pretty supportive of you for your acting, or?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, they always supported what I wanted to do.
Great.
Obviously, it helped with a bio degree, and
Yeah.
they really couldn't say anything.
Yeah, because you're feeding yourself.
Because I'm feeding
pursuing your
myself and
passion.
pursuing my passion. So they always were supportive. They would go see my shows and watch my films and stuff like that. So I was always lucky with that.
Great. That's cool, man. All right, well, we're going to sign off. Thank you so much, George, for your time and inviting me to your home. Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed
Thanks,
it.
George.
Thanks a lot. Nice meeting you.
Cool. So this is going to be James, a.k.a. Young, signing off.
This is Dan, aka Yin, signing off.
And then you want to sign off?
This is George Q. Nguyen signing off.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye. Relationships getting you down.